Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Beyond Hashtag 10 October podcast. My name is Lubedihle, and I am super excited to be hosting my friend in advocacy today. Her name is Ulemu, and I'll ask her to introduce herself. Hi, Ulemu, and welcome to the episode.
Hi, Audrey. How are you doing? I'm so happy
Oh,
to be here today.
same. You can introduce yourself.
Okay, just a little bit about me. Can I also say how you and me know each other?
Not a problem.
Okay. Okay. So, as she said, my name is Ulemu. I am from Malawi, born and raised. I lived in South Africa for a bit when I was doing my undergrad, and then now I'm based in the US. I work as a data scientist. And I met Audrey in Rwanda. We were at the Women Deliver conference in 2023. And, we just connected. And I think ever since then, like, we've just been in constant communication. And the thing that actually made us meet is that Girl Up had sponsored us to go and attend this Women Deliver conference. So I've got like a Girl Up club that I started in 2023. It's called Girl Up Elevate, and it's based in Blantyre, Malawi. And yeah, I'm just gonna pass it right back to you, Audrey.
All right, Ulemu, thank you so much for the intro. I just feel like I'm going to be screaming the whole time because this is going to be casual yet so informative at the same time. Yeah. Because we'll be talking about the highs and lows of studying abroad. I feel like there is a lot of elements relating to mental health there because it's not really easy, studying abroad. So I feel like this episode will be beneficial to a lot of youth out there who
Yeah.
are studying away from home. I feel like the moment you get to hear another person's experience wherever you
Mm,
are, it,
yeah,
it really helps navigate all these challenges all together.
yeah,
So let's talk about South Africa. That's where it all started, right?
yes,
Moving from Malawi to study in South Africa. How
yeah.
was it like? Did you have people you knew there?
No, I didn't. I
Uh-huh.
okay, I didn't. Let me say, okay, I didn't have family, but what had
Mm-hmm.
happened was two people from my high school had also gotten into the same university. They were in different programs and they were staying like in different like areas, but like at least I knew those two people, like if I like if I needed something because we were coming from the same high school. And yeah, so I'm just gonna talk a little bit about that. Moving to South Africa, ah, that just takes me back. That just takes me back.
Yeah.
Um, it just takes me back. But I think Rhodes University is in like a student town, so it is like very secluded, a very small town. Things are very like close together, and I always feel like that was perfect for me. It helped me just like ease into things. Like I wasn't staying in like a big city. Okay, I need to get from point A to point B. I'm staying on campus. I can walk to my classes. I can walk and buy groceries. And also, just another big thing was um, staying on campus as well. When you're staying on campus, they're doing the most, with events and setting up all these events, and you're meeting people. And yeah, so I was able to meet like my friend group, like girls that I still speak to till this day during those like first few campus events. But overall, my time there was great. Just the things that I was explaining just a few moments ago was just some of the things that kind of made it easier, just moving to a new country. South Africa is way developed than Malawi, so that was another step. um but yeah, I stayed there. I think 2019 I moved there. My mom dropped me off, and then I went back home, and then COVID happened, right? So I had to go back home, and then came back on campus. It was a little bit shaky, so I'm one of like the people that were in university during COVID, just moving back and forth. But yeah, that's what I can say about my time in South Africa.
Great. Thank you for that, Ulemu. As you were talking, I was just thinking like how often did you go home to visit? Since like South Africa was like totally new for you. Like how often did you go home?
In the first year, I think because it was the first year and I was complaining quite a bit, I went home kind of like twice. So in the academic system, like the academic year runs from like January to like November. I would say January, February to November. And there's a mid okay, not mid semester, mid year break in June. There's like a 2 week break. During the semester, you also have like a break, like a 1 week break. But obviously, as an international student, you're not going to travel back to your country for a week. So I used to say, okay, June, I would go back home for that mid year break. And then November, when when the semester ends, I would also go back home and then return, in February. So like twice.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much for that. I feel like it's just important to put it out there, that, sometimes even if you are so far away from home, it's still important to just go back home and visit for
Yeah.
and come back. Yeah. And I'm just thinking for you, it was much more important because South Africa and Malawi, bro, like the distance. For me, I think when I was studying in South Africa, it wasn't too bad because Zim in South Africa, it's not too far. And yeah, like you mentioned, it's really important to have like a community and to
Mm.
participate, in activities where you can meet people from your country as well and put yourself out there. Because yeah, the loneliness sometimes and the homesickness as well. I
Oh,
don't know, did you experience being homesick at some point or you were just soldiering on through and through?
no, I did. Oh, so
Yeah.
many times. So as I said, like the breaks are very short. There's not a lot of breaks, and during the semester, the break is 1 week. During that 1 week, because obviously we're in South Africa, a lot of people in the university are obviously South African. They would go home, and I, was just, like now your friends are going home. Now you're just alone on campus. Those weeks used to hurt. Like everyone else
Yeah.
gets home, and now you so not only like okay you're looking at them they've gone back home, but now you also don't have them, like you're not doing activities together. All those times used to suck. And you know what our
Mm.
university used to do?
Tell
when
me.
when it's a break, they used to like rent out the some of the rooms, or some oh yeah, they used to rent out some of the residencies, like to outside people, or they would just
Mhm.
want to do like a deep cleaning, because during the semester there is no time. So they would move you. They would say for 1 week you need to pack up your whole room and move
Yeah.
to, like, we used to call it like hilltop, because you had to drive like up a hill. So imagine you need to pack up. Imagine like being a university student. You've been there. You've accumulated things. You need to pack up everything in boxes, suitcases. Go and
Yo.
stay there for 1 week. Go on and pack in that little 1 week thingy and come back. And when I say everything, I mean everything. You can think of laundry, clothes. That would make even
Literally
the
moving.
yeah, that would make the situation even worse. Like,
Girl, no.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I feel like, yo, that's quite a lot. It is quite a lot. And it's emotionally taxing for sure, I believe.
Ah, hmm. But we soldier through. It's the things like
Yeah.
that, that make the person. But woo, looking back,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you so much for bringing that up. I'm happy that you are actually telling things as they happened, because yeah, it's always important to put out the laws, the highs and lows all together, so that if there's someone out there who's considering moving for school or work, they can listen and be inspired by your actual story. I'm happy that you are the person who's actually telling things as they happened. We're not asking someone else who would say, okay, what happened when Ulemu went to South Africa, so that is very, very important. So yeah, um moving forward, I just wanted to know, like, did you experience any challenges with the language barrier, or it was, a thing where it was easy to navigate altogether? How was it like for you?
Yeah, there were issues with the language barrier a lot, because I think like when you compare South Africa and Malawi, like Malawi got what can I say? Malawi, like culture wise, in my opinion, I just feel like culture wise, like yes, we express our cultures, but like in South Africa, I think people like they embrace their culture. They speak their language, their heritage, their clothes. Like I just feel like I just felt there like people are very proud of their culture, you know. And I might be wrong. This is just my opinion. So, in like now, just like normal places, like okay, grocery stores, and like people are speaking the language, and sometimes they're greeting you, and you're just they're like, oh, what, like that happened quite a bit. Like especially also like the staff at the school, most of them
Mm,
were speaking Isikosa, and I was in the Eastern Cape, and I know I'm not
okay.
even saying that. I'm not even saying that right. And that one is the one with the clicks. I feel like Zulu at least
Yeah.
you can follow a bit. But yeah, it was just like even just connecting like with the staff, like like maybe sometimes they're greeting you. They would always be like, "Oh, Molo, Sisi," and you just want to like greet them like that. They're so sweet. They're serving you, and things
Yeah.
like that. But yeah, I just felt like the language barrier. Other than that, I think also most of them are very like outspoken and very outgoing.
Yes.
And just me as a person, I felt, I don't know, that was, I don't know, that was a little bit also a little bit different. They're out there. If something doesn't happen, they're going to
Mm-hmm.
fight for it, things like that.
Mm.
So yeah, but those were the few things.
Okay, cool. So after South Africa, you went back to Malawi, right?
Went back
After
to
school.
Malawi, yes, yes,
Okay. So after Malawi, that's when you went to the US.
yes.
Okay. Let's talk about the US now.
Okay.
Yeah. Like start from wherever you want to start. I'm sure like you can juxtapose the two now, your experience in South Africa and your
Yes.
experience in the US. Yeah. I feel like you've been a Dora. You've been
Dora the
exploring.
just move,
Ulemu the
moving,
Explorer.
moving. Oh. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Is there like something specific you want me to share, or you just want to just in general, you just want to hear my experience?
Yeah, so you can talk about your experience. I need to have gone through your South African experience,
Yes.
and the importance of community. So, okay, let me be specific then.
Yes.
Let's talk about I feel like the US is quite different now from South Africa altogether. I've never been there, but I can just imagine that your experience it was like totally different. Like,
Yes.
was there community? That's the thing I'm concerned about now because when you get to a place that's so different like that, you want to feel like you're surrounded by people you can relate to, I believe.
Yes.
So was it easy for you to get that community, or you were just like, I want to go home and I want to go home now? Like, tell me about it. I just want to know.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think one thing that I'm realizing now is that every single time like you're about to make a big move, you are trying to get things ready, your paperwork, your visas. Like it's just you're looking at the next thing. But something that you forget is just kind of like your emotional needs, if I can say. It's like, you're
Mhm.
stressed out, you're burnt out, okay, this is how I'm going to arrive, this is where I'm going to go. Like all of those things, you're taking care of them, but you're forgetting the emotional load. You're forgetting that you're living the place that you were born and raised. You're forgetting that you're leaving, like, your grandparents, your cousins, aunties and uncles, or like friends, people that you just used to. That is what happened to me. Like when I was moving, I was just like, I want this to go right. A lot a lot happens. The US is very, very strict, with their visas, because you can get a visa in your country, but they have also given power to those people at the borders. So let's say, I flew into DC at the customs and border protection. They everyone has to go through that, and they ask you, oh, like, again, kind of like a visa interview again. Those people have been given the authority to deny you entry, you know so when you're going for the first time, that is kind of one thing that is like, oh, like, I just hope everything is right. Like, people have been sent back. Like, you did your visa interview, everything was good. You've got the stamp, cool, good things. You go at the border protection, and maybe they're just like, we're not convinced. So, again, that is what was just on my mind. Like, when I was saying bye, to family, it was just like, oh, yeah, like, I'll see them during holidays. Like, it's okay. And after all of that, now it was successful, school enrolled, school I've registered. it now hit me, girl. Like I am 8,000 miles away from home. It just hit me all at
Mm-hmm.
once. Imagine, like, just hit me all at once that if something were to happen, if I get sick, if I like, it just hit me
Mm-hmm.
one day that, bro, you're so far and like you're here for school. This is kind of long term. It's not like, oh, a master's program is 3 months and you're gonna go back. This is kind of your life now.
For sure.
So that
Yes.
that was tough. That was not easy, especially in the first few months. That I'm not even going to lie. Like I struggled.
Mm-hmm.
My mom was so helpful. She always used to avail herself. With the time difference, we are 6 or 7 hours behind, depending on daylight savings. So you can imagine, like right now, like if it's the afternoon for them, then it's like early morning for me. Or if it's if it's like dinner time for me, it's like the AMs for them. Like just the hours are a lot, but she used to avail herself and always just like, no, like, dude, you really wanted to do this, like it finally happened. And just like, oh my gosh, like you don't know anyone. Those first few months, those were not easy. But again, just after speaking to some people, then you start kind of just now making connections. Now, you go to class, and I was just making an effort. Like, let me just not sit in my corner. I'm a little bit introverted. Let me not just sit in my corner. You go to class, maybe you see another African. Or like, where you from? That African, introduces you to other Africans. You've got like your African community. Okay, maybe like the person that you're sitting next to, you speak to them, and later on you're collaborating on like a project, and next you're gonna go and get coffee. Like now you're making connections. Okay, like you're working for your professor, you're telling your professor about kind of like the internship that you want, or the connections that you're looking for, and he's connecting you to people. So as time went by, yes, it was still very lonely, very quiet, but it's like, okay, you're building community. You can go on campus and like, oh, and say like a few highs, you know. Um I think just I think, yeah, my mom was the one that told me this. She was like, it's gonna like sting at first, but you need to kind of ask yourself, how do I get myself out of this situation? You want people to lean on. Those people are just not going to come out of nowhere. You really need to step out of your shell. You really need to make an effort. Like you need to be intentional. How am I going to make these connections? And then another like big piece as well is that someone that I learned with at Rhodes University, her name is Ufulu. We had connected, in South Africa. We were the only Malawians in the class. And so, naturally we just became friends. When I told her that I moved to the US, she said, my aunt stays there. She stays in DC, and my aunt is a very friendly person. Please connect with her. I connected with her, and I like, this is not even an exaggeration. That might have been like one of the top highlights of literally 2023. I got
Yeah.
lady, and this lady is just so welcoming. This lady, like, till this day, like,
Mm-hmm.
she's introduced me to, like, just expanded like my community. She's opened her home. Anytime I felt, I'm feeling a bit homesick, I'm feeling like school is a little bit too much, she would just be like, bro, come here, come and take your books, come and study, just so that you're away from, your house or any of your worries. Like, just literally like a bonus mother. So that helped a lot. And then she introduced me to other Malawians, other, just, more connections. So that was, I feel like I just went deep into the community side. But yeah, having lived in Africa, for literally my whole life, there were so many there were so many like cultural shocks. The very first one was the grocery store. So okay, I've arrived. I obviously need to stock up on groceries. I go to just a simple, this is not even like a chain, like this is just a small grocery store. The small, yeah, like one of the small ones. I go there, and Audrey, there is
Mm-hmm.
like 20 different options for something. Like, I just want detergent. I just want laundry detergent. I just want a box of cookies. There is
No.
20 options for, and it's like, okay, you can just be like, okay, maybe I'm just gonna eliminate. I'll just go for the cheapest. Are you going to
Mhm.
go like, it's so hard? Like, are you gonna be looking? Oh my gosh. That I
Oh,
like I don't know. I don't know if you've heard of that. Like, that is crazy. Imagine 20.
that's a lot. I'm just thinking to myself, like, I get confused when I see like four options, just four. I start looking and checking and thinking which one is trending on TikTok, which one, 20 is a lot, bro. No, that is so different.
Girl, girl,
I,
and then like, and then another thing, you've taken your stuff. Obviously, I was bulk buying because I didn't have anything, so it was kind of like supplies and food.
uh-huh,
I go to the checkout. First of all, was self checkout. I had never seen like a self checkout. I had never used self checkout. That was very new
uh-huh.
for me. Number
Mm.
two, they don't add tax to their prices. So what you see, something might be like $4, but that thing is more than $4. So when you're now paying your total, if you kind of did some estimations, it's way more.
You're so stressing me out right now.
That was another thing. And
Oh,
imagine like, okay, you
I,
know what, I'm going to use $60, and you
uh-huh.
have to think $60. But
And then when you get there, it's just like more.
imagine tax is not added. So that was
Uh-huh.
a thing. And it's also just not like, I feel like, I don't know, maybe this depends on like the state, but people are not like very friendly. I feel like back home, if you're having a trouble in anywhere, like we always say, especially in Malawi is called like the warm heart of Africa. If you ask someone for directions, they will literally leave what they're doing and they will say,
Mhm.
let me just show you. Like that has happened. Like if me and my parents are doing like road trips, you find someone is like literally walking beside the car, like I will direct you. Just people are kind, people are helpful. Here,
Yeah.
here, everyone's just to themselves. People don't
Yo.
greet. You can sit next to someone in the bus, in the train. Next, they will not greet you. Something will happen. You
Uh-huh.
oh, like everyone's just so individualistic. Like everyone's just to themselves. It's not like they're trying
Mhm.
to be mean. It's just everyone minds their own business. That
And
was
that is quite
um,
different.
yes,
Yeah. Wow. I'm just happy that you're talking about the culture shock as well,
yes,
because that's very important. I feel like sometimes when people move and like to go in to study like in other countries, that's one thing they probably don't think about. So
yes,
I'm just thinking if someone who wants to, study abroad and all of that listens to this episode, they'll now be like more open minded to think, okay, these are probably the things I'll come across. And it's just easy to develop like coping mechanisms and all of
yes,
that. Well,
yes,
once you actually start thinking about those things. And another thing, as you were talking, I feel like three things stood out for me.
yes,
Um, the importance of community, like when you're far away from home. I just think there is no way um an individual can survive, in their shell. Like
yeah,
imagine you are like miles away. It's not like you can take a bus or, just go home and see your parents and your siblings. So with that community, it just makes things easy for sure,
yeah,
for the time being. Yeah. Of
yeah,
course, we want to be around our families and all of that, but sometimes circumstances it's like that. So yeah. And the second thing, um, a support system. I
that's
feel like your mom was very helpful, like
amazing.
throughout, yeah, yeah,
Mm,
throughout your stay, you trying to adjust. Because just imagine if like the parents were like, "Hey, you'll see, now you're grown up," like yo, it's it's so difficult, like not having people who don't want to, support you like that in the way you'd want to be supported. So shout out to your mom for being that kind of person for you. And I'm just hopeful that, as people listen, they'll just, you know, try to be a shoulder to anyone. You don't have to be related to someone, guys, to be nice to them and to offer, help and support. Because yeah, you just never know. Next
yeah,
time it can be you who needs, that kind of help at the end of the day. So yeah, I think we are just about to wrap up our conversation now. But before we do, I just
Yes.
want to know, like, do you have any advice to the youth who want to either like study abroad, or those who are already abroad but are finding it like difficult to stay home? Because I remember during my time in South Africa,
Mhm.
there were some people who weren't really like happy. They weren't like coping. And you can't blame people. Sometimes you don't have it in you. I feel like with you are so strong. I don't know how you do it, because like you've been a Dora. You've been everywhere. For some people, I just think it's heavier. People don't always cope. They
Yeah.
just want to go back home, like at the slightest convenience, like I
Mm.
just want to go home. So having been around such people, I just want to know, like, would you have any advice for them as well?
O- okay. So two people you said, first of all, the people who are, they're home and they're going to be planning to study abroad, and then some people who are
Yes.
just now, they've made it in their journey, but they're just feeling kind of like, what should I do? What is going on? Because as I said, like it's just waves, when you're at home,
Mm,
it's like the stress. You get rid of that, and then it's like, oh my gosh, you think, oh, I'm going to be the happiest, but you forget that like you're leaving quite a bit back, yeah. Okay,
mhm.
okay. So let me start with the people that are back home, and hopefully i I shouldn't yap too much.
Just yap away. We need the yapping, please.
But I would say for those, I think something that I wish people would tell me is to, as I said, to just really take care of yourself, to because it gets very stressful, when you're making these moves. These moves are not easy things. You're literally moving your life in like two suitcases, three suitcases at most. I would say, like, in as much as it's hard, please, please take care of yourself and please plan well. You know, um, do as much research. There's nothing like I've done too much research on the country, on the area, on the university. Do as much research as you can. You need to understand everything. Everything has to be down, to the deets. Already you're going to be going to this, foreign place, and you don't know much about it. I feel like the worst thing you can do for yourself is also just not be educated. And now so many things are just now being thrown out you. It's like this or that or that. It helps when it's like, okay, fine, you know what, I actually read about that. I read that, okay, maybe this is like a coffee shop I could go to. Or I read that, this area, maybe, the crime rates are high. Think just like small things like that. Like, okay, how do you get a phone plan? Okay, what is the like a normal credit card that students use? Okay, which supermarkets are like, cheaper ones, because here, like, there's some that are just really expensive, and if you don't know, you can just be buying from those ones. It's just like small things like that. And these days we have TikTok, we have different AI platforms. Just understanding, planning details to a T. um Very important. And then to the people that are, they've moved from home and they're just feeling homesick, first of all, sorry. Like, your feelings are fully validated. This is not an easy journey. But I just need you to remember, like, what it took for you to get here. You've achieved this. You've achieved this. Um I need you to remember that, because a lot of times, again, it's like we are always just waiting for the next thing. We're always just seeking for the next thing, and we forget, like, where did I come from? Like, oh, the person that the me that pushed for this, the me that literally went through this journey, she was praying for a time like this. So it's just like, okay, instead of always just sometimes like, oh, the grass is on the greener side. No, 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 the grass is greener where you water it. So, this is like a hard time, but like sometimes to just make yourself feel better, just look back, just look at your past achievements. How did you get here? And then just, be intentional about meeting people. There's different ways If you are, especially in university, there's so many events every week, if not every day, there is something happening. Either if you're like in the school of business, or you're in like the school of education, or like the school of communication, or like the college of science, like there is different school, like there's different schools, meaning different events. Go to those events, talk to people, that's how you make friends. There's always also just those events like at the beginning of the semester or at the beginning of the academic year. Just put yourself out there. It doesn't even have to be long. You just be like, you know what, I'll go to this maybe for 30 minutes. Let me tell myself, let me talk to like three people. Let me get connected to at least like three people or two people. Those people, you never know. I think this is what my mentor was telling me yesterday. Like, you might know where, like, oh, this connection started here, but you never know where that connection might end, you know? Um so I would say just be very intentional. Yeah, be very intentional about building your community. You need people. You need some people that you need people who are some people that are close by. Mostly because your support system is probably people back at home, but they're far. Sometimes maybe you need a ride to like the hospital, or like sometimes you just need to like sit down and cry in front of someone, or sometimes you've received happy news and you just want to go out and celebrate. So yeah, that's what I would say.
All right, thank you so much, Ulemu. I'm really happy. Like initially, I was just thinking, "But okay, how can I slot you like for this episode? Like, how can I structure the questions and all of that?" But what I knew was that you are the best person for this. Like having studied in South Africa, then the US, and all those experiences. So I'm actually happy with how this conversation went, and I am super super positive that the listeners will find it beneficial. So I am sending you virtual hugs. I'm sending you love. Thank you so, so, so much for being a part of my project. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much, Audrey, for having me. I had such a good time talking about this, and just want to say, to your listeners, if they ever need someone to talk to about, stuff like this, I am on LinkedIn. My profile is Ulemu Makolija. Like, I'm always just happy to talk and just, yeah, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ulemu.